Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So I'm reading today, shifting around, I'm reading today for Leo energy, and there's a bit of kind of a specific feeling or vibe or storyline coming through in the intuitive messages. I'm not quite seeing exactly how it fits in with the cards, but I'm gonna see if I can kind of explain what I'm seeing. So the specific story, and this might not be for everybody, I'm picking up on, it feels like three energies. So specifically, and you can switch the genders around if you need to, but it's coming through as perhaps a guy who has been in a very stormy relationship. It's coming through as a little bit kind of like rock and roll. So you were getting songs like Beautiful Dangerous with Slash and Fergie, Tainted Love by Soft Cell. So it's got this kind of like adrenaline and sex and fear kind of energy to it. So I've got lines like, I'm sorry, there's a kid crying now just as I start the reading. I'm sorry about the background noise. You're just going to have to bear with it, I'm afraid. You may be seeing repeating number patterns as well. I just saw 0101. I saw 1212. I saw 1221. So watch out for number patterns and just pay attention to what you're thinking or what's going on at the time. It could be significant for you. So anything that happens in a reading is part of a reading. So I don't know if you're dealing, maybe you've got a kid who's crying right now, or there could be something about that. So just take those messages if they apply and leave them if they don't. So I've got lines like, I hear the thunder thumping and my heart starts jumping. I'm in love with all your danger. Sometimes it's more fun to fight. It sounds very, very, very toxic. It sounds very driven by like the chemicals that start going, you know, when you get into like fight or flight, or you know, you get into situations where the adrenaline goes. It seems like somebody's kind of got a strange mix up of kind of like sex and fear and thrill seeking. It doesn't feel very, very healthy. You've got the song Tainted Love by Soft Cell, which is funny because I've heard that so many times this week already. And work, we're listening to like the Marilyn Manson version. So again, that kind of like heavy metal, kind of like raw kind of rock could be applying to somebody. For some reason, I thought Annie Lennox sang that song at one point. So Annie Lennox could be some kind of signifier. 222 on the timestamp told you lots of number patterns for you today. And then there seems to be this third person. So it's like, I've got the impression of somebody, a masculine energy that doesn't understand like emotional love. They only understand that the kind of passionate love, the kind of fire love, rather than the more subtle kind of water love. So again, this could be somebody who's always attracted to kind of fire sign placements, that kind of if it's not grabbing my attention, then it's not love kind of relationships. And it seems like, just give me a second. Okay, sorry, just paused while those people were shouting again. This could be like neighbours who are shouting and stuff like that. You know, somebody else's relationship where it's really stormy and you're just like, just split up already. But it's like attracted to the danger, attracted to the fighting, attracted to the drama of it all. Like, I don't know. Everybody lives in different ways, so you know, it's not fair anyone else to judge anyone else's relationship, but it doesn't feel like, to me anyway, the energy that's coming through, it doesn't feel like it's a relationship that, it's like the person knows it's toxic. The person doesn't really want to be in that relationship is the way it's coming through, but they keep going back perhaps because the sex is good, something like that, you know. There's a lot of energy involved in it. So there is this feeling of like, you know, wanting to leave it, but also desiring it. But then there's this third energy, which feels very much like divine feminine energy. And it's coming in as, you know, kind of the, I don't know if you remember my last set of readings, I kept on talking about like the woman of the woods. It's coming through very much like that. So very much this feminine energy that's in tune with nature, in tune with the cycles of the moon, kind of changeable, kind of going with the flow with the emotions, like very Cancerian energy. Doesn't have to be Cancer, but that kind of emotional, in tune, and it's much more subtle, right? So if I was to compare the energies of the two feminine energies that are coming in, one of them is very, very feisty, very antagonistic, argumentative, you know, very like they'll get attention, you know, where the second energy is coming through as, and I'm not saying either one is good or bad, right? I'm just saying there's different types. This other energy is coming through as much more gentle, much more nurturing, much more almost like mother-like, much more subtle, much more elegant, and yeah, just much more subtle. So it's like if this person has, if the male has kind of this squirrel brain where it's like, you know, you have to be loud to capture their attention, you know, maybe they're very busy, maybe it's like, you know, you've got to really get in the face to kind of like get their attention. They're going for the fiery woman, which is not a good thing or a bad thing, right? And it's a thing, but this specific relationship is coming through as toxic. It could just be a bad combination of people where it's like they're attracted to each other, but it's like fireworks and then it's like dynamite, you know, it's like it's too much, right? So on the other side, this more feminine, and it could be your own self as well, like you know, maybe you've been in a particularly masculine energy all your life. You know, we all carry masculine and feminine energy, and the kind of more subtleties of that kind of moon goddess energy have been boring. It's like almost like boring to you. Also, I'm saying you, Leo, I don't know who you are in this situation. It could also be that you've got some kind of partner. So it doesn't even have to be necessarily like who you're attracted to. It could be a situation where there's a partnership and one of the people you know, keeps getting involved in all the drama that's going on with the friends and things like this, or you know, they won't pay attention. Like if you're trying to tell them about your day, if you're trying to be like, oh, this happened in work today, they just won't listen, and they're too busy kind of like going, oh, did you hear what happened to Brenda? You know, Brenda got in this fight, you know, and it's like they're very much attracted to the drama and the chaos. That's what's getting their attention, but it's like in doing so they're not paying attention to the more gentle, subtle things which are important to people. So again, don't know who's who or how it applies exactly, but this is what's coming through. A roller coaster, yeah, exactly. Feels like a roller coaster. Somebody could be actually going on a roller coaster. So there could be something about the Hard Rock Cafe as well, like hard rock, heavy metal hard rock. I was getting kind of like rock and a hard place, but it's like a hard rock. But it's kind of like the instead of being like stuck between a rock and a hard place, it's like stuck between a hard rock and then this soft place, which is almost being, it's almost coming through as like, that's not for me. That's, you know, because it's unfamiliar, I want to say. It's not something that this person's experienced before. So they've got this kind of like, you know, I'm sorry, I don't pray that way kind of thing to it. It's like, that's not the kind of relationship I have. So again, it's going through to this kind of like building up of who you are, building up of your persona. These are the kind of girls I go for. These are, and again, I'm not saying you're he, she, they. Again, Leo, just it could be somebody around you. So if I say you, it's not necessarily you. It could be somebody else. Just use your own intuition with that one. But it's like this person that I'm kind of channeling. It's like, you know, I'm this great person, I'm this exciting person, I have relationships that are like this. These are the kind of girls I go for. And then, but it's almost like they're denying a part of themselves, or they're denying an opportunity to experience something new that could actually be for them. So you had that Halsey song, Good Morning. Let me just get the lyric up. I've not written this specific lyric down. Hold on. The film Good Morning as well, there's a film coming out this year with a lot of kind of like trendy influencer type people like Modson, I can't remember any, Dove Cameron. So the theme of that could be something for somebody. It's this person who has to choose basically between the girlfriend or their career. So that could be something for somebody. So Good Morning by Halsey though, they once told me there's a place where love conquers all. A city with streets full of milk and honey. I haven't found it yet, but I'm still searching. All I know is a hopeless place that flows with the blood of my kin. So perhaps hopeless isn't a place, nothing but a state of mind. So basically the way that I'm interpreting this for the energy that I'm picking up on is like, you know, people tell me about true love. You know, people tell me about this emotional kind of love that is, you know, really satisfying, like milk and honey, right? It's like this kind of, it's almost like being told about the yellow brick road, right? Or, you know, London being paved with gold. So there's a character called London in that film, which funnily enough, so London could be something for somebody. It's come up twice now. But it's like not believing in it because you've never seen it for yourself. So, you know, it's a fantasy, it's you know, a trick, you know, something like this, but it's like, but actually a part of them's still hoping for it. So it's coming up like that. It's like, it's like, I've never experienced it, so I don't believe it's true. I only believe in my own experiences, which was coming up in one of the other readings as Socrates and true opinions and true experience are two different things. True knowledge is two different things. But you seem to be, and I'm saying you, Leo, do flip it and reverse it if needs be, the energy seems to be being offered with an opportunity to explore these deeper waters, these deeper emotions that are much more subtle and nuanced, but very, very rich and rewarding, I want to say. It's just like an awakening or an awareness to the subtle signs of nature, or the way that, you know, God or the universe or our higher self speaks to us through signs and intuition. It's like someone's intuition's waking up. Now, it could be, I feel like it's hard to listen to your intuition if you're very busy. So again, if you are chasing a certain career, if you're working really hard, if you're very, very, you know, there's a lot of drama around you, it's very hard to just kind of be quiet and listen to that subtle voice, like, that we all have in our head, right? And then kind of like want to put mental health issues to a different side. That's not what I'm talking about. But our own inner intuition, our own deep knowing of things, and trusting that, trusting what our intuition is telling us about a situation, rather than our gut instincts, which are more flight or fight. Your intuition is much better at tuning into, you know, the subtle vibrations of the situation, you know, the glances that people give each other, or, you know, the things that people say that give you clues as to, you know, a little bit more that is going on under the surface. So it's a much more, almost getting into the more psychic levels of consciousness, where you're just very in tune with the subtlety. And then there's this line, don't trust the moon, she's always changing, which is really standing out to you. So I feel like for this energy that I'm picking up on, it feels like a masculine energy, but again, we all have masculine and feminine within us. It's like someone saying, you know, stick with what you know, stick with these upfront women or something like that, where, you know, the moon type feminine energy, you know, they're always changing, they're always shifting, you can't trust them. It feels, again, it's got that feeling of like, we fear what we don't know, we fear what we don't understand, we fear what we haven't yet experienced. The more experience we have with something, the more confident we start to feel that we can negotiate those situations. So it feels like feminine energy that is almost bordering on like paganism or something like this. But again, like, there's a line in one of those songs, Beautiful Dangerous with Slash and Fergie, I could be your pagan angel. So there seems to be kind of two sides of the same coin, or a foil between these two characters. So the kind of feminine energy that's coming through, like Fergie, in that video, she's, if you go and watch the video to Beautiful Dangerous, Fergie is a very, a bit of a toxic character, right? And she's saying, I can be a pagan angel. Now, there seems to be something about American and European ideas of what pagan means. So in America, pagan, because America, the kind of Western, modern version of America was kind of founded by people who were quite religious. They were, you know, believing in Christianity and things like this. So anything that wasn't a form of Christianity or Catholicism, or, you know, that genre of religion became pagan or other. So the Native American religions were you know, seen as something to be feared, or something that was more devilish. And in the same way, when Christianity came into Europe, a lot of the pagan religions were kind of pushed out or demonized. So if you look at, you know, James I and his witch hunts, for example. These old forms of medicine, and this is history I'm talking about. I'm not saying anything about modern, well, I'm not saying anything about how people practice their religion today, right? There's a lot of different religions. Religion is a very personal thing. How we interpret it is kind of a personal thing to us. You can get two people from the same religion and they may have very different beliefs. So please just put your own personal beliefs in this modern age aside. I'm kind of talking about historical stuff. So there does seem to be this thing about so encountering this energy that feels, again, like very, very, very pagan in the old European sense, or in the Native American sense, where it's like just being in tune with the natural world, being in tune with nature, being able to read the subtle signs, being able to have your own spiritual connection with everything, right? If you, with that principle of like God exists in everything, and being in tune with that, being part of that bigger energy that runs through everything, or being in tune with the cycles of nature and the patterns of nature, that kind of thing, you know, someone who's just very in touch with those kind of things, and not of the kind of corporate or consumerist plastic world that we've built up. So it's like coming into contact with this, but it being not something you've come into contact with before, for whoever this is that I'm channeling. And again, you could be this kind of pagan type person. You're here watching a tarot card reading, so take it as it resonates. But you know, if you want to look at some people's ideas of what pagan is, you know, it can come from perhaps movies, or especially American movies, or American books and media, where, you know, it's almost anti-Christianity, so therefore it's the devil and it's something to be feared. That's not the case at all. That is a misunderstanding of a very, very, very old, or even multiple old nature religions, right? Which are not bad at all. They're just in sync with this and that, right? This and that true, the great mystery. So it feels like this person has come from perhaps a background or a culture that has demonized this kind of almost like the good witch energy, right? And hold on. Okay, just shut my window for a second because my neighbours are having a massive chat. Right, just trying to get back into where I was up to. So again, like, it feels like frustration with a relationship this person could already be in. It's always tease, tease, tease. And then there's things like a fire that won't go out. Motorbikes, biker jackets, bike helmets, I was kind of seeing when meditating. Northern soul could be something for somebody. And then mods and rockers, punk rock. So those kind of music genres that came, maybe this is somebody's favourite, those kind of music genres that were around sort of in the 60s and 70s, I want to kind of say. Especially English music from the 60s and 70s. Especially kind of the like more rocky or edgy scenes. That could all be something for somebody. So let's get into your cards. Oh, laptops as well. Somebody may work the night shift and there may be something about laptops. Somebody could be buying a new laptop. So you start with miracles. So the story that's coming through here is, again, I don't know if this is you or this other character that I'm picking up on, but I may say you, but just take it as it resonates. So it's almost like coming across something that is emotionally very, very deep. Water always symbolizes emotions for me, and you've got a lot of water. So the imagery is talking about coming to a pool, coming to a body of water, and then almost like laying down to have a nap is the way it's coming through. So you could be dreaming, for whoever I'm reading for, again, flip it and reverse it if needs be, it could be your person, lying down next to a body of water, or dreaming about water and waterfalls. But it's like, it's almost like Narcissus as well. Like Narcissus would probably be a Leo, right? The guy who fell in love with his own reflection in the water, and he kind of like drifted away, or pined away. So it's like seeing something. It's like seeing something reflected to you emotionally is the way it's coming through. So it could be a person, but there's something that is like mirroring you, or something that is it's almost like glimmering. It's like glimmering in your consciousness, glimmering to catch your attention. You're like the surface of water or glimmer, or like seeing something that's kind of like a flash. It's like you're just getting a glimpse of something, and it's speaking to your emotions. I want to say it's like a sign of deeper emotions, something perhaps that you haven't explored within yourself, or perhaps something within you that is, you're seeing a sign of it reflected in somebody else. So again, it could be something really subtle that somebody says, or just a strange feeling of, I need to look at that, especially if you, for the person I'm reading for, like this, being the type of person to go like squirrel and go running after the big shiny loud thing, or big shiny loud person. It's like catching the eye of the subtle person in the room and being like, there's something there, there's something about that person, there's something I recognize in that person's eyes that's telling me more about myself. It's opening up this emotional space. It's like drawing attention to my own deep emotions, or my own psyche is the way it's coming through. So rainbow waterfall, miracles. So again, it's got that feeling of like the thing that you never thought would happen, the thing that you know, it's like, wait, hang on, is that my soulmate? Is that my one true love? Are fairy tales real? And then almost dismissing it and being like, wait, no, that's ridiculous. Like, that's not who I am. But then it's like with gestation period, it's like thinking about it. Because this, oh my God, please, neighbours, shush. Like, they've got the right to have a chat, right? They don't know I'm recording. So it's like, it's almost like it's percolating in your head. It's going round and round in your head. But this actual symbol here, this kind of like curl shape, represents to me a part of your brain. It's the shape of a part of your brain that is thought to be the part of your brain that can pick up on psychic messages, or can pick up on you know, the dream space and things like this. I want to say it's the amygdala, but I'm probably wrong. But if you look it up, like which part of your brain psychic and stuff like that, you'll probably find eventually what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's like this little thing, and it can calcify as well. It can get hard, which is like, it doesn't work as effectively, and you can kind of like decalcify and get softer, which is like how I want to say that your psychic awareness can wake up. So things that you're eating and drinking and stuff can affect it, I want to say. But yeah, it's like this thing going round and round in your head. It's like, I need to sleep on this, I need to go away and think about this. But it's like always there. It's almost like something in your subconscious, like underlying, because that initial glimmer is like, it's like something that's caught your eye and you can't stop thinking about it, or you can't, or things keep coming up that make you think about it. You know, like someone will say something, it'll make you think about that initial, it's like a little bell ringing or something like that. It's something very subtle, but it keeps playing on your mind, or it keeps bringing you back to this place, I want to say, this emotional place. So with Time for a Deep Dive, it does have the feeling of being invited into these emotional waters. Like, I don't know if somebody has been diving or something like that, but again, it's like, explore this more, whatever these emotions are, whatever this feeling is. And again, it could be tied to a person. It could have just been triggered by a person, right? Like somebody says something and it makes you think more deeply about yourself. But it's like, explore this more. Yes, you are meant to do this. Yes, this is possibly quite scary, because it feels like a part of yourself, or a part of your emotional needs, or a part of your persona that you haven't incorporated yet. So again, it could be, I'm this guy who rides a motorbike and I get all these chicks, and you know, like, I like stormy relationships. Well, it's like, if you haven't had the emotional relationship, and again, like, possibly look at your relationship with your mother. I don't know if that can tell you anything. I'm going a bit Freudian, but it's like that, especially, right, they're telling me really specifically. So if somebody had this connection with the mother, right, that kind of unconditional love of the mother, but possibly lost their mother, they could have been something there where they kind of shut down that part of themselves, and then meeting somebody, it's very Freudian, who is also demonstrating that love. it could be quite confusing, or there could be some kind of rejection of that there. Again, it's coming through very... It's coming through like, again, the way that I'm getting it intuitively, it's like just the edges of it. It's almost coming through like the silver lining, you know, like the silver lining of a cloud. Every cloud has a silver lining. So it's like, I'm kind of seeing that kind of, again, like it's very kind of glimmery, very subtle, like a tiny bell ring, you know, like a strand of silver glimmering. So again, it feels like follow this, like, but it's hard to pull it in as well. So deep diving, right? So being at the edge of the water, it kind of feels a bit Arthurian. So kind of as you are thinking about this, as you're, you know, sleeping or resting, and like this thing's going round and round and round in your head, it's like all of a sudden the lady of the lake appears, right? It's like, here she is, the lady of the lake, offering you the sword. It's like, you will be king. I don't know. But it's like... the Four of Water, the Four of Cups, talks about a missed opportunity. Like, again, this could be, the normal explanation of it would be, there's 5 cups, they're all spilt over. 5 cups, 3 cups all spilt over. These symbolize bad relationships in your life that, you know, has made you go, do you know what? I don't want any relationships anymore. Relationships always end up in trauma or drama or pain. You know, maybe love isn't for me. Or, yeah, maybe love isn't for me. I'm just going to go out and go on Grindr or Tinder or whatever and, like, you know, just randomly hook up with people. I don't want love. I don't want long-term relationships. I don't want commitment. I just want to get my needs met. So yeah, it's coming through with a rejection of emotion. But here with the Four of Water is bringing you a Ace of Cups. Now, an Ace of Cups is a gift from the divine. This is something that the universe knows that you need emotionally. And normally it's very, very, very positive. So if you don't accept this cup because you're too busy crying over spilt milk, you're going to miss a kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And it's coming through with this Magician's Sword, confidence in your own magic. So there seems to be what's being offered to you by this opportunity is to have more confidence in your ability to speak and be heard, to express what you need and what you desire, I want to say emotionally, and to take action to meet your emotional needs. So it's talking about manifestation. So you're being given an opportunity here by the universe, and it's like the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords combined. So it's like, be very careful right now, because anything you speak into existence from this emotional place is going to manifest. So you want to really ask the universe or relationships or people for what you want and be very clear about it. And be careful, because the sword can also be a weapon, because the truth can hurt people. So you're being given a gift, and if the universe is bringing you this gift, they trust you to use it in the right way, in a noble way, right? This is why King Arthur was chosen to be king, because he was you know, like if you look at like all the people trying to pull the sword from the stone, I know that's a slightly different sword, it's a slightly different part of the myth, right? But like King Arthur, like all these knights were trying to pull the sword from the stone to try and be king, and the sword wouldn't come out because they weren't honorable enough, they weren't pure of heart, right? So they couldn't get this gift. You know, they were not allowed to be king. So the universe chose Arthur, this young squire who wasn't even a knight yet, right? Because he was pure of heart, because he was noble, because he was kind, because he was the right person for the job. So this idea of like kings being chosen by God is very kind of Middle Ages. So Taming the Wind. Wind is air energy, which is also swords energy. So swords, air, wind, all are signifiers of language and thought and expression and action in the tarot. So again, you've got this feeling of being given a a tool in some sort of way, or an opportunity to express things in a very controlled way. So this is not throwing your words around wildly. This is not arguing for the sake of arguing. This is being very clear and concise and effective with the way that you are communicating with others. It's very mature, okay? Because I want to say that when you do this deep dive into whatever these emotions are, the truths that you speak are going to come from this deep place. And when you speak a deep emotional truth, it resonates with people. It has an impact with people because they may not agree with you, but they can understand you. And there's a respect when people speak a deep emotional truth with clarity and conscious thought, not, this is what I feel, so I'm going to wave my sword around wildly and kind of like, attack people. But it's like when you do it from that mature place of like, this is my deep emotional truth, there is power in that, and people can't argue with it because it doesn't matter what they think, it doesn't matter what they say, it's your truth. Okay, that's not something that can be shaken. So this is not something that is a whim. Again, this is something that has been thought about long and hard. So going back again to that shape, can you see it here? The shape of it's almost like percolating thoughts, like something going round and round. Maybe you just sat waiting for your coffee to brew, and it's like as the coffee's percolating, this thing's going through in your head, and you're like, do you know what? I know what I want to say here. I have an opportunity to speak, and I'm going to speak my deep emotional truth because I explored those feelings. So yeah, really, really like this. Getting a lot of like divine mathematics as well, and this kind of spiral shape is kind of found a lot in nature. Cancer's reading ended with this spiral shape as well, so it's talking about like divine matrix, divine mathematics and things like that. If you want to dive deeper into that, that's been a thing that's been coming up in my readings. I'm getting really warm. I'm going to open my window again. Let's hope that people don't get chatty again. I'm really scruffy today. I'm sorry if you can just see my really scruffy old Primark sweatshirt. So yeah, something that can be spoken. But this also talks about clearing space. So clearing out emotions, saying what needs to be said, expressing your feelings in a way that is not attacking somebody. I don't know if somebody could have Cancer placements, but I'm not really feeling that. I'm actually getting Capricorn from some of the songs that are coming through, especially like I googled Marilyn Manson's star sign, and he's like 5th of January or something, so I think that's Cappy. So a little bit of Cappy coming through. Cappies are all over the place all the time. They're very busy people. But yeah, just check out your placements. So, but if you've got Cancer placements, especially something like Cancer Mars, Cancer is a protective, defensive energy, so its attack is the best form of defense. So if you've got Cancerian placements, be careful of your tendency to get on the defensive and attack to maintain those defenses. So that's kind of like the sort. Have you ever seen that meme of it's a crab with a knife in its claws? It's like this. It's like that's very Cancerian. So that's like Cancerian, like on defensive with the shell and on the attack. So it's like the perfect meme for Cancer energy. So do be careful, and if you're dealing with the Cancerian as well, again, Cancer's coming through. They can be very high vibrational, like gorgeous Queen of the Moon energy, or they can be the defensive crab on the attack. So just be careful with who you're dealing with as well, and who you're speaking to, and be careful with your language and words. This has been a common theme of the week. I think Mercury in Libra at the moment. I'm not sure where Mercury is. I've got an idea in my head that it's in Libra, but Libra is, I've got a Mercury Libra placement. And again, it does talk about, Libra is very good with language, being an air sign, and Mercury is the god of communication. So that placement, if that's what's going on astrologically at the moment, it's a placement that is very measured with the words. They speak purposefully, or it's an energy of speaking purposefully, speaking with purpose in a very balanced way. So you often find when Mercury is in Libra, there's more opportunity for advocating, for understanding both sides of a situation, for finding the middle ground, for having important conversations where both people feel heard and listened to. So it is a let's talk it out energy, and it is a very it is a watch your words energy. It is like being careful with what you're saying, measured communication. So it is coming up throughout all the different readings. So I feel like that's probably what that is. Again, I'm not an astrologer, so I'm not 100% on that, but it's the vibe I'm getting. So yeah, and this talks about as well, like working with spirit, working with whatever you see as that higher vibrational energy that is beyond earthly matters. So for a lot of you, it could be nature, you know, Gaia energy, or God, or the universe, or, you know, however you see it. Okay, the energy that runs throughout all things. Then you have, again, this energy of like, it's almost like an invitation. So this is coming up with, like, the story is kind of like having a nap, coming across this pond, having a nap at the side of it, this mermaid creature appearing out of the water, this lady of the lake, and saying, come and jump in and explore these waters with me, explore this emotional space with me, explore these feelings with me, you know, explore this relationship with me, let's figure out what we both need from these emotional waters, something like that. And then I see the person that I'm reading for actually diving in. So trusting the unknown, trusting, because it's like you've never been in these waters before. So it could be like you've never been in a relationship like this before. It doesn't even have to be love, right? It could be a friendship. You know, I've never had a friend like you. I've never had somebody who understands me emotionally the way you do, something like that. But again, it's coming through as being, because it's like, if those waters are really deep, you're only going to really see the surface, and you're not really going to know what's down there until you dive in, right? Until you take the plunge into whatever this opportunity is. And it feels very spiritual, and it feels very deep, and it feels very meaningful. So I want to say that no matter what the outcome is, whatever happens down there, you're going to really learn some very spiritual lessons. Trust the great mystery. The whale always talks to me about, it's always the star whale. So it's something, it's almost like an ancient part of yourself, like an old soul energy, like memories from things that feel like they could be memories from past lives, or memories from your higher self. It's like this ancient energy that's been there from the beginning of time to the end of time, that knows all things. So the whale is a very, very spiritual symbol for me. It goes very, very deep into the deep emotional spaces, into the psychic realm. And for me, like with being a star whale as well, like it's made of stars, it's like almost like seeing the future in the past and all those kind of things. So very, whatever this is, very big opportunity to really explore those hidden spaces within yourself, you know, the shadowy emotions, the cold waters, the dark places that normally perhaps you'd be afraid to go to. Being in whale spirit energy means that you have the power, you have the capacity. This is the time that you can safely go and explore those places. And then it's like coming back up for air. It's like coming back up, like learning something, discovering something down there, right? Some deep truth about yourself, perhaps, where, you know, perhaps even recognizing your own emotional power when you do speak from these emotional places. And then it's like coming back up with this kind of more playful, light-hearted nature, because it's like whatever you discover down there, it's like it's lifted your spirit, or it's allowed you to unburden yourself from something that perhaps you were afraid of. There's a lot of stuff about fear coming up this week. So just be aware that if you are getting afraid, perhaps by things that are in the news, or things that are happening in your neighborhood, perhaps, you know, or things that are happening to friends and family. There's a lot of, the way the planets are moving is kind of like going into this, let's trigger everybody's fears energy, because anything that happens is teaching us about ourselves and teaching us how to become stronger and more capable. So I want to say, don't blindly fall into your fears. Do that deep shadow work of, why am I afraid of this? What is this telling me? Are my fears valid? And kind of do the Socratic method of deconstructing those fears a little bit. Are my fears rational? Just keep peeling that onion back and seeing more, like this lotus flower, right? Keep peeling the petals of your fear back in, discovering more about it, asking more questions, and it will help to put things into perspective. So the great mystery, this and that are true. Again, I don't know if you're having a conversation with somebody. It could be a very emotional conversation where you have different opinions of the past. Hold on. Yeah, deep you know, a kind of conversation where deep emotional truths are spoken. And it's like, you don't have to argue. You don't have to be right. You don't have to, you know, accept that you're at fault or anything like that. It's like both people sitting down, having a conversation where there's a difference of opinion and it's okay. And then the resolution of that is, it's all right that we have a different opinion here. It's okay that we have a different approach on this. It's okay that we have different needs. It's okay that we are not in alignment. This and that can be true. And this is a deep spiritual truth that I feel like this character understands already. And it's a very freeing truth. So it's the kind of truth of, okay, so this awful thing happened, this bad thing happened, it was really scary, but isn't the sunset beautiful today? I had something, I won't kind of get too personal, those of you who know me quite well will know what it was. I haven't shared it with everybody because it's kind of very close to home, but something happened in my area a couple of nights ago, and it was quite shocking, and it could be quite scary, but again, I kind of put everything into perspective and refuse to be afraid of something, and I don't want to talk about it too much, but it was a bad thing that happened, and it was a scary thing that happened, and at the same time the sky was beautiful. And I was looking out of the window and thinking, but the sky is still up, the clouds are still gorgeous. And then on Twitter today, I saw that, okay, this is a bit of a long explanation, but there's this meme. So if you don't know what a meme is, it's like something that goes viral. And it was this little boy. And he was being interviewed about what he was eating, and he was eating a stick of corn. You may have seen it. It's a "it's corn" meme, if you want to Google the "it's corn" meme. And it's this little boy, and he just loves corn, and he's eating it, and he's enjoying it, and he's got all this good stuff to say about corn, and it's so wholesome, and it's such a, you know, he's getting such pleasure from something quite simple, and it's like, yes, okay, there may be bad things in the world, but that boy loves his corn. He's having the best time right now, and it's become like a song as well. So it's now these people who turn memes into songs have and who get like millions of listeners, they've collaborated with this little boy to release this meme as a song, and now every time someone listens to that song, that little boy's going to get a little bit of money, and I'm hoping he could potentially make quite a decent amount of money from that. So I'm like, you know, hopefully that's that kid's college fund sorted. So it's like, even though there's bad in the world, there's also really good stuff in the world, you know, like humans can be awful, but humans can be lovely. You know, this and that is true, and it's being able to live in that duality, being able to accept that is very liberating. So you know, I don't, you know, I can be sad about one thing and happy about another thing at the same time. You know, just because there's a bad thing that's happening in the world doesn't mean I have to be all doom and gloom. I can compartmentalize, I can contextualize. I can live in that, the nature of duality. So there is quite a lot of stuff coming up about the nature of duality. It's coming up in my last set of readings. It was coming up with this interplay of love and death. Right, you know, we're born, we procreate, we die. These are all truths of nature that we should accept. Again, you've got like the Halsey song "Good Mourning," so maybe learning how to mourn, maybe learning how to explore these deep, confusing emotions, and perhaps this and that are true that you're discovering is, okay, we may have had a stormy relationship, but there was also a lot of love there. Yes, we may have had bad days, but we also had really good days. You know, it's okay that my emotions about this person are conflicted. It's okay that, you know, we had a mixed relationship. You know, there was love there, but there was also, you know, bad days. So it's okay. That's okay. That's very human, and it's very natural to have a mix, right? A mix of things going on about any situation at any time. So be receptive to the subtle messages from nature as you go about your day. Nature talks to us continuously. We only need to open our hearts and minds. So again, this could just be you tapping into your hidden potential in terms of the feminine side. So again, Leo, you do tend to roar through life. You are the lion, right? So, and you are also a masculine sign. Now, so whatever your gender is, whatever your gender identity is, whatever your sex is, it's almost like for whoever I'm reading for, you've been in the kind of masculine roaring lion energy, and it's time to open up that softer part of yourself, and to be in tune with the natural rhythms of nature. So again, sorry, I'm trying to leave. George freaking out stood right behind me, creeping over me. So someone once told me, don't trust the moon, she's always changing. That is her magic, right? Why would you not trust that? Why would you not trust the beauty of the moon ruling the tides, and how it brings the tides in and out, and how this creates waves that people can surf on, or how this creates, the movement of the earth and the winds and erosion, and creates these different environments that animals can live in, so it's everything has a purpose. The moon is not supposed to remain the same. The moon is supposed to change. The life itself, relationships are meant to go through changes and cycles. Nothing is ever supposed to be stagnant and the same. And so this thing that you've been taught to fear is becoming, and I'm hearing, your greatest weapon. And again, the sword is here, the sword is a weapon, but it's how you wield it, right? How you choose to use that. And if you use it in this way that is deeply in tune with the rhythms and cycles of life, it's extremely powerful. So again, we end with wisdom and this owl who's been popping up in a lot of different readings. Even Cancer, I don't think it came out in the reading that I did on camera, but the pre-reading had these owls in as well. And Gemini, I want to say, had the owls. So this kind of high priestess energy that's been, this divine feminine woman of the woods energy that's been filtering through my readings recently is back again with this owl coming in. And can you see that this fairy is a little bit older, a little bit wiser, but she has a lot of knowledge. Again, we can talk about James I and the witch hunts, and kind of that season of how historically it was, I believe the Catholic Church was kind of instigated this kind of witch hunt mentality, where the witch finders would go and often persecute older women who had this very wise understanding of the natural world, right? They understood what plants would heal you and what plants would hurt you, and how one plant could heal you in a certain situation but poison you in another. They understood the gift that, if you want to say God, or whatever that means to you, gave us in terms of the bounty of the natural world. They understood how to work in harmony with that nature, but that became a threat to the Catholic Church at the time. So therefore you had the witch hunts, right, which often persecuted these very, very wise, very beneficial women. And you can talk about, again, like Native Americans as well. So have you ever been told that you're wise beyond your years? Now is the time to call upon your inner fairy wisdom to help you with a challenge. So I want to say, whoever I'm reading for, if you're faced with a challenge at this time, trust that inner wisdom, trust that old soul of yours that's really speaking from a much broader perspective of understanding things from a much more wise angle than perhaps what is being presented on the surface. Okay, I just paused. My neighbours are back from a camping trip, so they're going to be unstacking the car. I'm glad they've come back now, though, at the end of the reading. So I'm going to get you a song, and we'll just kind of see what you get. So it'll either resonate or it won't. It's sometimes worth going watching the music video as well. Sometimes it might just be the name of the artist. It could be a familiar name to you. Oh, Gloria came up as well. And Yeah, so it could just be in the name of the person, could make you think of a certain person. It could be that the song itself, maybe you don't have strong feelings for the song, but it reminds you of a certain person or a certain situation. Could just be one specific line of the lyrics, could be something in the music video. But just have a watch and see what comes through, and also check out the description box down below where there will be a song list. You can go and check them out, see if anything resonates. I'll get you like an advice song and a light bulb moment song as well, kind of towards the end there. So Should I Stay or Should I Go is currently playing by The Clash. It can be meaningful to somebody. It's in my notes, I forgot to mention it, I think. Should I stay or should I go? So again, that kind of like UK music scene, especially like northern music scene perhaps. Okay. Come Out and Play by Billie Eilish. Again, the thing about roller coasters, on the image of this, if I can kind of show you, there's a Ferris wheel there, so maybe you're going to a fairground. Wake up and smell the coffee. Is your cup half full or empty? When we talk, you say it softly, but I love it when you're awfully quiet. See, much more subtle, right? You see the piece of paper, could be a little greater. Show me what you could make her. You'll never know until you try it, right? You'll never know until you try it. Take the deep dive. It's here for you, Leo. And you don't have to keep it quiet. Again, you've got this sort of truth. So just be careful with how you say things. You don't have to keep it quiet. You can speak your truth, but you can do it in a wise way. And I know it makes you nervous, but I promise you it's worth it. To show them everything you've kept inside. Don't hide. Too shy to say, but I hope you stay. Don't hide away. Come out and play. Look up out of your window. See snow, won't let it in though. Leave home, feel the wind blow. Taming the Wind. Because it's colder here inside in silence, and you don't have to keep it quiet. I love that song. Don't hide away, come out and play. So you are invited to speak truths, perhaps give a relationship a try, not to hide some kind of deep truth. Again, the whale spirit can symbolize deep secrets. Yeah, that's your reading, Leo. I hope it was helpful to you. I feel like I need to get another card. Let's get Tarot down and we, because it's a very, very kind of moonlight card, moonlight deck, beautiful deck, like one of my absolute favorites. And the cards really speak to you directly as well. So I'll get a card and we'll kind of read. It's funny that the moon is on the bottom of the deck as well. There's no such thing as coincidences, guys. So let's have a quick. I'm hearing I trust my deck. I don't know if you've got your own deck of cards. I trust my deck. I do trust my deck. I trust my guides. My cards are always right. My psychic messages are always right. They come through in weird ways where it's like nothing plays out as I expect it to, but it's always something. It always makes sense. It always plays out. Normally in very unexpected ways. I don't think I could advise. I don't think I could actually predict something that was going to happen consciously, but I always predict things that are going to happen through signs and symbolisms that make sense later. It's very, very interesting. I don't think we're meant to know everything. I think we're meant to trust, and we're meant to explore, and we're meant to go into hidden things to, go in and find things out for ourselves. I don't think we're meant to have all the answers, which is kind of the meaning of dolphin spirit. It's like, have fun in the exploration, have fun just living your life and having experiences, but make them positive, not toxic as well. Like, learn the difference. Okay, can I get one card, please? One card. You gave me more than one card. Knight of Cups and Queen of Cups. Yeah, there's emotional progression here. That's really beautiful. Again, this Queen of Cups here, her hands are tied. So she always does talk to me about something that you are, emotions that you're holding back. Because this is guarded as well, this Queen of Cups, or this Knight of Cups. It's like wanting to express something but being guarded, but also being transparent, and then being restrained, like your emotions being restrained. Now the Queen of Cups, she does have emotional restraint. She's emotionally mature. The Knight of Cups tends to be a little bit more like knight in shining armor energy, right? Running in to save the day, running in to read poetry and express themselves. The Queen of Cups has a little bit more knowledge, right? They kind of know when to speak and when not to speak. Just a little bit more mature. Both good, both positive. So the Knight of Cups, love as a compass. Excuse me a second. Okay. I just wanted to like swallow and sniffle before I started reading. I am a knight of the heart. I am attractive because I know how to love myself, as well as as well as others. My quest is of love and romance. My heart is smarter than my head. That's why my emotions are the map that I'm following to guide me through life. I'm always connected to my intuition. I'm sending you an invitation to follow me. Don't just love, express your love. Don't just dream, manifest your dreams. Remember what you have here. Confidence in your magic. And it's coming up out of the water. Like, look there. It's coming up from the water because it's an emotional truth. Don't just hope. Fight for your passions. Imagine and feel, but also act. Commit to the world. Turn your ideas into something real with all your heart. Let love, in the largest sense, be your strong and unique compass. Become a knight of the heart in your turn. Beautiful. Imagination, but also action. Beautiful. So some of you may have Pisces placements or Cancerian placements. That's the energy of those two cards. Pisces is a dreamer, really beautiful dreamer of imagining. They just have this brilliant ability to dream and imagine and fantasize. And the magic of that is how you make a direction. That's how you have progress. If you can't dream of a different future, if you have no concept of a different way of being, you can't put that into action because you can't visualize what that is. Pisces are the dreamers. They are the dream architects of the zodiac. Like they're not the best at actually doing things. They're very much the philosophers, the dreamers, but you need those people in society and you have to respect them because they play such an important role. So if you've got perhaps a kid who's, you're like, they're a bit hopeless, but they have this beautiful imagination, that is a gift. And it's a gift to humanity. Very old soul energy. Queen of Cups, my crowned heart. Can you see what I feel? Can you feel my emotions swirling around me? Don't mistake my sensibility for weakness. In my presence, you have to trust your emotions. I know the secrets of your heart. Very intuitive, right? I am connected to your feelings. I open a window to your emotional inner world. I have only but love and compassion for you. In return, I don't demand that you care for me. I demand that you care for those around you. As a queen, I have heavy responsibilities. I must watch over all my subjects, but in the same time, I mustn't lose my own self in the process by getting too involved. So I'm learning to control my emotions. This is your mission too. Find the right balance in order that your emotions become your crown and not your burden. So the keywords are compassion, swirling emotions, goodness, warmth, caring, finding the right balance. And again, I feel like somebody's had a lack of this. So again, I don't know if this is you bringing this to somebody else or this is somebody bringing this to you, because somebody has, it's like, it's almost like a part of themselves that has been unexplored or not discovered yet. It's like, that thing about what they're saying, they say there's a place where the streets are filled with milk and honey. It's like, but people told me not to trust that energy. And now you're starting to be like, do you know what? I'm going to explore it because there's untapped potential there. And if I don't explore it, it's a missed opportunity to learn and to grow and to have more knowledge. And this is emotional knowledge, right? That's going to make you wiser, and it's going to give you more emotional self-control in a very compassionate, warm and centered way. So this is a very, very, very positive reading, and I would strongly encourage you, wherever that thing is where there is hesitation, there is fear because it's unknown, it's unfamiliar, it's unexplored, there's a richness waiting for you to discover. So please do embrace this opportunity in a slow, measured, steady way, because the universe is bringing this in for you. All right, I'm going to go. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you again. And remember, watch out for the synchronistic numbers, especially zeros, ones, and twos. So like 0101, 1212, 1221. Do take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye, friends.